This is the Old Musician's Blog, number 71. I've just finished doing the watering of the new plants and the other things that are watering all around, and I was going to go in and keep Lucy company where she's making a nice pie and maybe some regular cookies. And but then Mr. Big, he wanted to go out and explore the territory a bit, and so even though I didn't see the other cats, I did see the black thing going around, and they've gotten into fights before, so I didn't want to have that occur. So I came out to sit here, and I'm out sitting by the chicken shack, and let's see, Mr. Biggs. Can I show Mr. Big over there? Yeah, there he is. He's scratching in the dirt. I don't know what he's doing exactly, but there he is anyway, and he seems to be having a really nice time being outside after all of that forced isolation that happened because of the other cats, and particularly those male cats that were hanging around. Anyway, we've got rid of them now by shouting at them, "Bad cat," and they've got homes. The only one that might not have is Carl, but he's the worst behaved of them all. So somebody's feeding him, so he's doing okay. And Mr. Big's back to being able to go outside, which is very, very nice. Even the blue jay was glad to see him, and I think it's that same blue jay that was coming to get the cat food when we were feeding all the cats outside of the kitchen there. And there was one particular blue jay that would come right up to the kitchen door there, which is a glass window, and he would get a piece of cat food. And the blue jays, they like to get something and then take it away someplace else. Sometimes they bury it, sometimes they eat it. You never know what they're going to do. And I think that's the same blue jay that's been sitting on the stump and keeping me company sometimes. And he listened to my story, when I was telling him about how he was part of the Corvid family, and how the crows and the ravens were his relatives, and the jackdaws too, and that the jackdaws, not so many people here know about jackdaws, but in England they seem to have jackdaws quite a lot. And when I was a kid, there was a jackdaw at Summerhill where that had gotten a broken wing, and Ina, Neil's wife, she fixed Jack's wing, because we ended up calling him Jack, and she fixed his wing and she nursed him back, and that was something that you always seem to used to hear of in the old days, about people taking in a bird with a broken wing and fixing it with sort of like popsicle sticks or something. Lucy has a similar story about it, where she had a crow, and that she had healed, and the crow befriended her. Now, of course, she was, I think, a young teen, so, and I don't know if I have the story exactly right, but the thing was, they already thought that she was a special person of a psychic nature, so to speak, and now when they saw her going to school every day with the crow, yeah, well, you're a little bird, aren't you? Yeah, there's a little bird up there. I don't know what it was. Then they really thought that she was, of the mystical bent, and maybe with some magical properties. And so the football team would ask her to give them her blessing and stuff like that, before they were playing. But anyway, going back to Ina, she healed Jack with his broken wing, and Jack became a fast friend of Ina's especially, and often other people in the school too. But with Ina especially, he liked to come into the kitchen and sit on her head when she was serving dinner through the hatch. We used to stand in line out in the corridor, and there was a hatch to the kitchen that they opened. It's a lot more civilized now, but back then that's how it was. And you'd have a blackboard that had the what's for dinner or whatever, what's for dinner or for supper or for breakfast, and you'd ask for it through the hatch, and then they'd serve you up your meal, with your through the hatch, and you go in the dining room and find yourself a seat and eat there. And anyway, Jack used to sit on Ina's head all the time, and befriended us all by doing that, right up until somebody noticed in the meeting that all of the bath plugs had gone missing, and wanted to know who the heck had been stealing all the bath plugs. Well, nobody could be found, and other shiny objects seemed to be disappearing as well. And as a consequence, there's this caused some consternation amongst the community, and there was no solution to it until one of the adventurous kids was climbing up some tree and found in the fork of a tree all of these shiny objects that Jack had been being attracted to and thinking that they would go well in his collection. And so that's, I don't know what eventually happened to Jack. Perhaps he flew away, perhaps, he died in the holiday or something. I think if he had died during the term time, that there would have been, a big procession. But a lot of the time with animals with half-wild or, half-tame animals, you don't know what happens to them. They just disappear. We've had quite a few cats just disappear amongst maybe an equal number of them that, I've buried on the land. And befriending animals it's a kind of a special thing, I think, for humans, because it gives you a whole other perspective on the life of living things. And so I'm happy that this particular blue jay has found me and Mr. Big a bit curious when we're outside doing things in the yard.